What's up, it's Richie here with Statifying Football. This is week 5 of the 2020 season. These are my noon games. Check out my other videos if you want midday and the prime time. But the noon ones, starting off with the South Carolina Gamecocks and the Florida Gators. South Carolina, they lost in a really close game to Tennessee, 31-27, ended on basically on a muffed punt return. Colin Hill, transfer quarterback from Colorado State, had a pretty good game, 290, a touchdown, a pick, and 1 rushing. Wide receiver Shi Smith went off for 10 catches, 140 yards, and a touchdown. UF, they beat Ole Miss. They put up a ton of points, 51-35. Kyle Trask, 416 yards and 6 touchdown passes. Tight end Kyle Pitts, 8 catches, 170 yards, and 4 touchdown receptions. They put up 642 yards of offense, and their defense had 4 sacks. They gave up a lot of points and yards to Ole Miss, but Ole Miss has a pretty good offense. This South Carolina offense looks a little bit better, but Florida shouldn't have too much of a problem getting by them. Alright, TCU and Texas. TCU lost a close game to Iowa State, 37-34. They started with Matt Downey, who passed for 159, a touchdown and pick. Then Max Duggan came in, passed for 241, 3 touchdowns and pick. They had almost 500 yards of offense. They did have 10 penalties, though, so they got to clean that up if they want to try to beat Texas. And they had a fumble return touchdown there. Texas, they won an awesome game against Texas Tech. They were down by 15 points with just over 3 minutes left. They only had a 0.1% winning percentage at that point. They came back, won in overtime, 63-56. Sam Ehlinger, 262 passing yards, 5 touchdown passes, plus 1 rushing. Defense forced 3 turnovers and had a blocked punt return. I expect this to be a bit of a shootout, but I'm going to go Texas here in the end for the win, but possible upset alert there. All right, Missouri and Tennessee. Missouri looked okay against Alabama, but they still lost 38-19. Sean Robinson, 185 passing and a touchdown. Tennessee had a nice close win against South Carolina. Garantano, 259 passing, a touchdown, passing and rushing. Defense had 4 sacks, 2 turnovers, and a pick 6 in that game. I think this will be a little bit close. Well, the line is 11.5. That sounds about right. I'm going to go Tennessee edge there. North Carolina State, Pitt. This kind of a match of NC State has a pretty decent offense. Pitt has one of the best defenses in the country. NC State, though, they did lose to Virginia Tech 45-24. Hockman came in, didn't do very well, only 7 of 16 passing, 82 passing yards and 2 picks. Then Leary came in, 12 of 16, 165 and a touchdown. So they look good. He looked good there. Pitt, they beat a good Louisville team, 23-20. Pickett was solid, 220 passing, 2 touchdown picks, but it was really about their defense. 7 sacks, Patrick Jones getting 3 of them, and they forced 3 turnovers. This is going to be a really close game. I'm going to get a slight edge to Pitt there, but possible upset for NC State to win. Then ECU and Georgia State, this should be a shootout. I think ECU, they showed pretty well against UCF. They did lose 51-28. Holton Nailers, though, did pass for 215, 3 touchdowns, added 55 rushing. They put up 459 yards of offense, but they turned over 4 times and had 11 penalties. Georgia State's last game, they had a few postponed, but they lost barely in overtime to Louisiana Lafayette, 34-31. Cornelius Brown, 186 passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, plus 1 rushing. Destin Coates, 150 rushing yards and a touchdown. They put up 419 yards of total offense. This should be, like I said, a shootout, but I'm going to go ECU there. Then you got Arkansas State and Coastal Carolina. Arkansas State, they haven't played since their upset win against Kansas State. They won that one in week 1 or 2, 35-31. They had both quarterbacks play and played pretty well. Bonner, 204 passing, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Lane Hatcher, 61 passing yards, but 2 touchdowns. They put up 489 total yards. With Coastal Carolina, they beat Campbell last week, 43-21. Grayson McCall, 273 passing, 2 touchdowns, 466 yards. Defense had 5 sacks. This will definitely be a shootout. This is a tough one. It's on that Teal Field in Coastal Carolina. I'll give Arkansas State the slight edge, but that should be a really, really, really close game. All right, Baylor, West Virginia. Baylor, they beat Kansas in their first game last week, 47-14. Charlie Brewer, 142 passing and a touchdown. Defense had 4 sacks, and Treston Ebner had 2 kick returns for touchdowns. West Virginia actually played pretty close against Oklahoma State. They lost 27-13, but they turned it over a couple times, including allowing a fumble return touchdown. Jared Dagey, 285 passing and a touchdown. Lady Brown, 104 rushing. Winston Wright, 6 catches, 127 yards and a touchdown. I think this will be a little bit close. Well, Baylor's only favored by 3, so this will be close, but I'll give Baylor the edge there. UTSA and UAB. UTSA, they're 3-0. They're coming off a 37-35 win over Middle Tennessee State. Frank Harris came in. He passed for 70 yards and a touchdown, then got hurt. Then Josh Adkins, 233 passing and a touchdown. Wide receivers, Gary Franklin, 6 catches, 119 yards and a touchdown. Defense had 3 sacks and 2 turnovers. UAB, they showed well against South Alabama, killing them 42-10. Bryson Lucero actually got the start there over Tyler Johnson. He passed for 319 and 2 touchdowns. Spencer Brown ran for 105 and 3 touchdowns. Austin Watkins, one of the best receivers in the country. You heard it here. 7 catches, 183 yards and a touchdown. They put up 509 yards. I'm going to give the edge to UAB, but UTSA does look good this year, so this should be pretty close. But I'll give UAB that slight edge. Winnable Northern Alabama beating over Liberty. Liberty should win this game. They're 2-0. They beat FIU in a close win, a really good game, 36-34. Malik Willis, 285 passing, 2 touchdowns, plus 85 rushing. Joshua Mack, 107 rushing and a touchdown. DJ Stubbs, 8 catches, 119 yards and a touchdown. They put up 527 yards and had 5 sacks in that game, and they should be able to win. Then the final noon games, Abilene Christian and Army. Army, they're 2-1, lost a pretty close game to Cincinnati, 24-10. The quarterback, Anderson, they had to pass a lot. He was only 9 or 21 for 94 yards and a pick. He had 81 rushing yards. They only ran for 182 yards. Their triple option team, they were averaging like well over 400 rushing a game, so that didn't go well for them there, but they did force 2 turnovers and had a fumble return. They shouldn't have much problem with Abilene Christian. So those are the noon games. Check back later for the 3:30 games. Peace.